Okay, so let's travel to the ancient royal city of Yogyakarta in Indonesia. Every single year, something absolutely extraordinary happens there. We're talking about a festival that's been going on, without a break, for over 500 years, and yet most of us have never even heard of it. So let's dive in and see what makes this thing so special.
Just try to imagine this. The air is thick with the smell of street food grilling, mixed with incense. And then there's the sound of sacred bronze instruments playing music that hasn't changed since the 15th century. All around you are thousands upon thousands of people, all caught up in this shared celebration. It is a complete sensory overload, but in the best possible way.
So, what exactly is this thing? It's called Sekaten. Now, on the surface, it's a celebration of the Prophet Muhammad's birthday, but it's done in a way you will not find anywhere else on the planet. It's like a living, breathing artifact of cultural fusion, a place where different beliefs don't just exist side by side, they've actually mixed together to create something completely new and unique. To really wrap your head around Sekaten, you have to get this central paradox. It is, at the exact same moment, a deeply holy, sacred event and a massive, loud, wonderfully chaotic street fair. And it's that wild mix that really gives the festival its soul. And you can see these two worlds colliding perfectly right here. In one spot, in the mosque courtyards, you have these sacred gamelan orchestras playing ancient, meditative music. But literally, just a few steps away, the main square is a full-blown carnival. We're talking food stalls, fairground rides, the whole shebang. And somehow, it's not a contradiction. It's a perfect harmony. And all this chaos and celebration brings us to a really important Javanese concept, gayub. It's more than just being in a crowd. It's that specific feeling of communal joy, that feeling you get when you're part of something way bigger than yourself. And let me tell you, walking through that square at night with hundreds of thousands of people all sharing that same moment, that is the purest form of gayub you could ever hope to find. So if that week-long carnival is the heart of Sekaten, then the final day, which is called Gribeg Malud, well, that's the explosive grand finale. And it features what is seriously one of the most visually stunning ceremonies in all of Southeast Asia. The centerpiece of this climax is something called the gunungan. And you've got to understand, these aren't just pretty decorations. They are literal mountains of food. I mean, just picture these structures standing 2 or 3 meters tall, built out of hundreds of kilos of rice cakes, vegetables, and fruits, all arranged into these incredible, towering offerings. And the journey these food mountains take is everything. They're built over days, then carried in this huge, solemn parade from the Sultan's palace all the way to the Grand Mosque. Once they get there, they're blessed by Islamic scholars, and then they're released to the crowd. And what happens next is just wild. Thousands of people rush forward, and those massive ganunan are torn apart by hand in just a matter of seconds. So why the absolute frenzy? Well, it all comes down to this one idea, berkah, which means spiritual blessing. The belief is that every single piece of food from that mountain, even just a single chili pepper or a tiny rice cake, is filled with the Sultan's blessing. It's supposed to bring you good fortune and good health for the whole next year. So it's not just food, it's a tangible piece of grace you can hold in your hand. All right, now let's zoom out a bit, because to really get the full weight of Sekaten, you have to understand where it happens. The city of Yogyakarta isn't just a random location. It was designed to be a massive, sacred stage. The whole city is laid out on this perfect north-south line, a sacred axis that connects powerful spiritual forces. To the north, you have the very active volcano, Mount Merapi, which is home to powerful spirits. To the south, you've got the Indian Ocean, the realm of the sea goddess. And what's right in the dead center of it all? The Sultan's Palace, the Kraton, which is ground zero for Sekaten. So you see, the festival isn't just taking place in a city. It's happening at the absolute spiritual center of the Javanese universe. Its location, sitting right there between the palace and the Grand Mosque on that sacred axis, is completely inseparable from its meaning. The place is the point. So all of this builds to the really big question, why? Why does this festival still matter so much after 500 years? Why do hundreds of thousands of people still show up every single time? Well, the answers tell us something really profound about what culture is and what it can do. For starters, there's this concept called itiling. It's a Javanese idea that basically means to remember, to be aware of where you come from and what you owe to your history. In that sense, Sekaten is a massive collective act of remembrance. You can almost think of the whole festival as a kind of memory machine. When you're there listening to that 500-year-old gamelan music, you are plugging directly into the moment Islam first arrived in Java. You're connecting with every single generation that has stood in that same spot and listened to that same music for half a millennium. The festival is also kind of like a living, breathing contract between the ruler and the people. The Sultan provides the whole ceremony, the blessings and the gunungan, and in return, the people's participation, just by showing up, reaffirms those deep social and spiritual bonds that hold the whole city together. And this is where it gets really brilliant. It's a perfect picture of syncretism. I mean, think about it. This is an Islamic celebration that uses royal items from a Hindu era, set to pre-Islamic music, and all happening in a space that was designed with animist beliefs in mind. It's a living, breathing model of cultural fusion, not conflict.
And that is what makes this festival so incredibly relevant today. We live in a world where our differences are so often used as weapons to divide us. And then you have Sekaten, standing as this 500-year-old example of how different traditions can actually weave together to create something beautiful, something new, and something that lasts.
So the question the festival really leaves us with is this. In our own communities, in our own lives, what can we learn from this ancient Javanese model of togetherness? What can this amazing story of sound, spirit, and shared celebration teach us about finding harmony in our own complex world?